Welcome to the Mum to MILF podcast, episode 6 or 7. I can't remember at this stage. But all I know is we're in for another banger. So buckle the fuck up, Sharon. We're ripping in. So today I wanted to talk about doing one thing and the beauty of mastering one thing at one time. Now, in my 13 years coaching women and mums, I've come to the understanding that most people, but we're talking about women in this context, so women are very, very good at saying yes to lots of things and fucking not following through. Okay? And what I've seen is it's like, yes, I want to diet. Yes, I want to exercise. Yes, I want to do all this. And then when it comes to the medium or short-term ramifications of doing something, you fall apart. So the importance of doing one thing at a time and nailing that one thing is everything. It's how you do everything. Where a lot of mums go wrong is that they're happy to say yes to stuff for their kids, and then what happens is there's fuck all time for you. So when you're focusing on, I'll play two stories out, and I'll use myself as an example. So in my early days, when I was looking to find the career that I really wanted to do, in this circumstance, quite useful. Okay, so when I was younger, when I was about 16, I didn't do too well at high school. I wasn't like a shit student, but I chose the more creative, like food tech. I think I chose art, English, maths, and something else. And they were all subjects that like you got the shittest ATAR. I think I got an asterisk for my ATAR. Funnily enough, the asterisk didn't help me build a business, 2 businesses, and make them both successful. That's another story for another time. But in that instance, it was really good for me to focus on a variety of things and test and try different things to see what worked or what I enjoyed. So with chefing, for example, I did that, and then I participated as a professional chef or an apprentice chef, so getting to a paid capacity, that's what I mean by professional, for 3 months. In that 3 months, I worked really, really hard. I showed up early, I left late, and I did everything to the best of my ability. Now, my abilities could have been terrible at that time, but it was safe to say that it wasn't non-fit. I ended up smoking cigarettes with the other chefs, and I was like 18. And it was nowhere where an 18-year-old man that was into fitness should have been. But it's all I knew. I was like, I want to create the most amazing dishes. I want to do all this amazing stuff. And then as I walked down the realities of what a chef's life is like, and I was looking down the barrel of the gun of being a chef, I actually got fired because I had diarrhea. I got sent home because I kept using the bathroom. And then later on that night, it was Easter long weekend, and one of the chefs had seen me out and about at the pub because I was waiting for my friends from Sydney to come up. So I was waiting for them at 12 o'clock, and I saw him, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I had a flask of alcohol. I'm like, I'm drinking. He's like, oh, okay. The next Monday I got fired. Even though they sent me home, it was a whole thing. I really don't care because I'm a million times of a better place now. Those same chefs would be asking me for advice on how to live their life correctly. It made me, I guess, find out what I really liked fast. And then so I ended up seeing a friend of mine at the time, Drew. He was at Port Macquarie TAFE, and he was doing personal training course. I was doing chef. And so in the chef stuff, you're doing a lot of practical, hands-on at TAFE, and then a lot of theory. Certain cuts, like I think it's a julienne cut, it's like a matchstick cut. You're learning all these different kinds of cuts of vegetables and whatever it is in like chef language. And I saw him, and my TAFE mates were all like proper deros and degenerates and smoking cigarettes, and I was part of that, right? I was a pretty looking degenerate and a fit degenerate. And I saw my mate Drew, who was getting more shredded, more like a stud, and he was doing personal training or fitness. It's his fitness cert for in fitness. And I'm going, hang the fuck on. I'm obviously doing something wrong here if I'm here and I want to be there. And I was looking down at what his life looked like versus if I scanned 10 years into the future, what my life looked like, and I didn't like what I saw. And prior to chefing, I did landscaping with my father, a bunch of other stuff. And I realized I did brickies laboring, but because I dabbled my toe in all those things, I realized what I didn't like, and then I realized also I could speak, and I was quite articulate, and I had the gift of the gab. And so I worked really well in retail. And so I realized, well, fuck, I'm good with people. Why don't I just try retail? So I worked at a supplement shop for 2 years. Nailed that, did really, really well there. And I realized, like, instead of getting paid $20 an hour as a brickies laborer, busting my ass, I could get paid $25 an hour for working in the supplement store. Hang on. And so it was only in doing multiple things and dipping my toe, I kind of got a taste of what I did like and what I didn't like. However, where I've found this doesn't work is in the rest of your life. It works when you're trying to find a path that works for you. But where most people go wrong is that they'll say yes to 1,000 different things without going all the way into it and reaping the benefits. For example, I dipped my toe in chef. I saw I didn't like it. I was like, okay, I got fired. That's all I need to see. If my best is here and I'm going down the gurgler spiritually and mentally, I don't belong here. Then I did PT. It was a fit. I loved the gym. I'd been training for 2 years at that stage. I was like, this is great. You tell me I can get paid for this? Amazing, right? And so I moved down to Sydney from country Taree, and like 4 hours north of Sydney. And I moved in with my mate Miles at the time for like 2 or 3 weeks while I was going out drinking and running around. And at that time I think I was building up a little illicit side hustle that I'm very, very, very much away from these days, have been for almost a decade now. So very grateful for that. But that was sort of where I grew up around drugs, alcohol, and that sort of stuff. So naturally, I thought, make money in that avenue. It's easiest, lowest hanging fruit. So I went and hang out with my mate Miles, and I don't think at the time I was doing that, but that was sort of on the come up. And he housed me for like 3 weeks, and then I realized I want to do this TAFE course. So I enrolled, and I found out it was in the Shire, somewhere 35 minutes away. And so I ended up moving in with my grandparents. I said to my granddad and my grandma, hey, look, I'm happy to look after my granddad, who was 50 years paraplegic. He was coming to the end of his life, and I said, hey, look, I'm going to look after you as long as you house me and I can go to TAFE for you. They were like, yeah, sold. I ended up living there for 9 years. But in that time, I found what I liked, and I dipped my toe and I went, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. Now, to circulate all this and make it make sense, in the same way with fat loss, a lot of you gals commit to the long term, are happy to say, yes, I want the thing, but without understanding the steps that get you to the thing. Now, in my program, I've got the easiest program you could ever follow in your life. Put what you ate into a phone, have a coach like myself or my head coach evaluate it. Good as gold. We give you personalized feedback on every single week, every single meal, every single day. It's about as good as you're going to get. It is the best in the world, I firmly believe, in terms of its simplicity for mums. Because typically, mums have zero time, fuck all like desire as well in terms of priorities to spend an hour a day looking at losing weight. So I looked at that and I said, PT, life for me. Happy to look after my granddad, life for me. But with fat loss and that sort of stuff, people don't look at it with that lens. And they go, I want the end thing, and then aren't happy with what happens in between there. And they take on a bit too much outside of their personal life. And then once you're spinning 1,000 plates, so let's say you say, I just got off the phone with a lady who signed up. Her name is Michelle, lovely lady in her 50s and very, very sweet as well. Wants to lose about 10 odd kilos. And she was like, hey, I want to do golf, and I'm also doing swimming, and I also wanted to go to the gym. I said, okay, that's all well and good, Michelle, no problem. We can do that, but we must build to that. Ladies, if you want your dream life and you want to be healthy, strong, and inspiration, you want to have peace between your ears, you must tackle one thing at a time. So when I was chefing, I tackled that, didn't like it. Although I picked different things, I tackled it and found out I didn't like it, moved on. Now, you might find that you don't like calorie counting. One, it's a means to an end, so you never have to calorie count again by doing the amount of reps. It's like learning a language. Safe to say, once you're fluent in Italian, you pretty much stay fluent unless you never use the language ever again in your life. But with food, you eat every single day, so you're gonna eat the calories every day, and you'll know what's in it every day because you'll use that part of your brain every single day. And so landscaping, did it, didn't enjoy it. But with PT, did it, enjoy it. Fat loss process, did it, enjoyed it, was happy with the terms and conditions. Now, with Michelle, she wants to test and try different things. And I said, you can have everything you want in this life, in this world, towards, as you get on to 60, 70, 80, but you have to do it in a step-by-step fashion, focus on one thing at a time. And so mums, if you're watching and you're listening to this, I just implore you to focus on one thing at a time. Reason being is I look at your focus or your attention as energy, as currency. If you've got 24 hours in the day, safe to say, depending on who you are, 6 to 8 of those hours are sleep. Half an hour either side is going to sleep and waking up, because you don't just go to sleep and go, don't. You might sit in bed and doom scroll for a fucking hour like most of my mums do. Bless them, love yous. Or you'll wake up and you're not going to be like, ping, I'm fucking ready to go. Jump straight into the gym. So you've probably got anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of sleep, let's say. So you've got 15 hours. 8 hours of that's work, so then you got 5 or 6. And then 4 hours is probably family time, school drop-off, all that bullshit, you got 2. Then one of those is probably meal time, and then one of those is maybe at best for yourself. However it sort of works out. And if you look at your life like a pie chart, or your attention at least as a pie chart, you go, okay, 33% is already allocated to sleep, maybe even more at 40%. 40% is at work, so I've got 20% to play with. I need to be as effective as I can with that 40% to get to end goal. Because if your end goal is fat loss, and this podcast is purely designed for mums who want to lose 8+ kilos of fat, because that's who my clients are, and I do make this podcast to get clients and to educate along the way, so you hopefully learn one day, this guy's the bald prick that can help, which I can. But if you want to lose that 8+ kilos, you have to focus on one thing at a time, and that is always your nutrition. If you can focus 5 to 10 minutes a day on learning and implementing your nutrition stuff, you can solve problems that'll last you for a lifetime. Biggest problem with a bunch of mums is they start using excuses. Oh, work got in the way. Oh, no. Your ability to say no got in the way. If you want something, you can have the body of your dreams. You've just got to say no to everything else until you get it. And then you can start saying yes to other things because you've learned how to get it. I'm going to use this example. You don't have to fucking do your university degree 2 times, do you? That's a good one. Oh, that's a fucking perler. You don't have to do your university degree twice. You got to do it once. Then you got it. Just like my program, or just like doing the fat loss stuff once, you do it once and you do it right. Now that's the key. That's where most fuck up. Most mums, they do short-term solutions to long-term problems. So they'll start a meal plan, which is one focus. Then they'll start exercising, another focus. Then they'll worry about some mindset bullshit, another focus. If you're happy, sad, grumpy, feeling shitty, no matter what, do the work. Your mindset is just another way to sell you on some dumb shit, in my opinion. Mindset means nothing. 0. Get up, do the work, learn from the work. That is it. The life that you want is on the other side of the work that you're not willing to do. And if you do this calorie counting and fat loss stuff right, you do it once, you're good. I say that as living proof of someone who's focused on one thing at a time and fucking nailed it out of the park. I don't say that to be a dick, but I know how I wake up every morning. I wake up, I gym, I walk. That's my life. I'll eat something, I'll get to work. I finish work at 7 to 8 to 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock. And that's my life. I'm very, very happy with that. I love my life. I'm a very enthused, happy person, very focused, very driven, but I've got a life that I fucking froth. Okay, and that's 7 days a week of work. I'm happy to do that. But whatever that sort of looks like for you, and whatever you want that to look like, you can have. But if you knock out one problem at a time, see, if I tried to get sober, lose fat, build a business, all at one time with no previous experience, I'd fall flat on my face. That's why when I tried to build a gym, I got really fat. I built my gym and I could only focus on building the gym and doing the sessions. I couldn't focus on fat loss at the time. And so my energy, according to that pie chart, was, you've only got 100% of your energy, right? I couldn't create focus or take focus from anywhere else. So if we use that analogy as the pie chart, we say it's 90% of your time's taken, you've got 5% maybe for a diet and exercise. If 5% of your priorities and your attention is your time you can give to fat loss, and you're going to spend it on thinking about exercising, you're doing it all wrong. I think I just missed over that part, but when most mums, they do something, they're typically used to getting a result from bottoming out their food, so following a really rigid meal plan, which doesn't teach them anything about how to lose fat and keep it off, or they've over-exercised like a mofo, or they lost a lot of weight because they were sick during pregnancy and then they've somehow kept it off. But they got to the end goal without realizing how they got it when they lost it. It's like, oh, fuck, with so many good awakenings here. It's like an inheritance. It's like if you inherited money or won the lotto, great. You won the lotto, congratulations. But how do you keep it? You don't know how the fuck you got it. You paid for a $10 ticket, luckiest human on earth, and then all of a sudden it slips through your fingers because one, you don't know how to make it, two, no, you don't know how to keep it. Same thing with your fat loss. You might have drilled yourself into the ground, but then when you have kids, you realize, oh crap, I don't have the time to do that. I've only got 5% of my time now allotted to this diet and exercise shit. What's the biggest mover? Your nutrition. And if you focus on one thing at a time, great, then you can integrate training. Then you can integrate fucking bullshit mindset stuff. Then you can integrate health being the main thing. Then you can integrate strength. But you can't have it all from day dot if you're starting from zero, which a lot of mums are starting from zero. Most, in fact. Most mums are starting from a place of crisis because they're like, hey, I've been focused on myself for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and I'm starting fresh, man. Help. Right? So with that, I want you to start thinking about focusing on one thing first. And if it's fat loss is your goal, it's nutrition that needs to be the thing you focus on, not anything else. Then you can layer in exercise. But if you don't understand the how to get there, like if somebody picks you up and blindfolds you and drives you to somewhere out in the desert, you don't know how to get back home because you've been blindfolded on how to get there. So if you can learn the how to get there through trial and error on your nutrition alone, just one focus, you'll know exactly how to get there again and again and again and again. And just in that way, that's why I developed my program the way I did it, is because we step out everything for you in a stepwise fashion, because that's it's the improved likelihood that you're going to get there. I don't have a system. My system is my mum's, but that's the method that I've found that gets the most reliable results, is focusing on one thing at a time. For example, let's say if you've said yes to all your kids' sport and now 5 nights a week you're doing kids' sport, instead of figuring out maybe what day it's on or telling your kids no, God forbid, you can't do 5 sports for one child, I can't do that. Then you're left pulling your hair out because you've got no time for you and no time for anything else, and you've made this commitment. Bow. Your kids aren't going to give a fuck. Kids are going to go, gosh, Mum, I'm so glad I played tennis, football, soccer at a D grade level for 10 years. Thank you so much. They're gonna want a mum that's present and actually focused on them. That's at least my core belief. And so I guess I urge you guys today on this little mini podcast and this mini talk to focus on one thing at a time. I want you to take some time to reflect on what's the one thing that you want to knock out, and then you can build out. But you have to, it's going back to the university thing again. You're not going to go to this 3rd year university if you haven't even started a course. So if you haven't even done your 1st year uni, why go to 3rd? You've got to graduate. There's steps that need to be followed and procedures that need to happen before you can get to that end goal. But if you think it's just as simple as like, eat nothing, get there, you're so fucking dead wrong. There's psychological, there's social, there's familial, there's relationship pressures, there's financial pressures. Your life is going to go through so many seasons right now, and if you don't have the best strategy to get you through those, you're going to fail again and feel like a failure for the rest of your life or for the next 5-10 years. I talk to mums all the time that for some reason, have this massive problem and aren't willing to take action on it. And I just go, you poor thing. Like, you're losing out by not saying yes to you and not saying no to everything else. You got one life, and you can spend that life miserable and fat and sad, or you can spend that life actually getting after it and hiring people to help you get after it. I've never wanted to hand over a credit card in my entire life. Fuck yeah, take 15 grand for this coaching course. No thanks. But did it make me better? Did it make me grow? Did it get to me the place where I am today? Yes. I pay $250 every single month to sit down with my coach, Ben. I do not complain about it. I actually am like, fuck, this is the most valuable 30 minutes of every month with regard to my health. We're doing a stool test. I've got a shit in a tray. Scrape apart my own caca and test my gut health. How fucking exciting is that? Just a little update for you. Just in case you wanted to know. That's adulting. Is it bad psoriasis and shit? I gotta fucking suss this out. But that's what happens when you lose fat. You lose the fat, you're like, oh, what else can I focus on? What else? What else? And there's always a what else, but your life is 10 times better. Like, I wouldn't be thinking about a stool test when I was 20 kilos overweight in September when I got back from America. I was like, get this fat off me. Fuck. You know? And so in the same, and now I'm like, oh, now I can think about higher order shit. So I can make my life even better. It's incrementally. Sure, you're not going to feel as good going from 120 kilos down to, 99. But it's those little 1%ers you start to chase, and they make life 10 times better, 10 times more worth living, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I kind of rambled a little bit today. But I guess the purpose of this podcast is to get you gals to focus on one thing at a time, not 50,000 different things, because you're very, very good at saying yes to 1,000 different things and then having to pick up the pieces. And then when you rest your head at night, you're so overwhelmed, so throttled, so fucked because you didn't say no to the things that really don't matter in the long-term 10, 15, 20-year picture. And you said yes to the things that don't matter and no to the things that really do matter, like you. And then year on year, you're confused why your life's a fucking mess, or you feel like shit, or you're depressed, or you don't want to have sex with your partner, or he doesn't want to have sex with you, or you don't believe that you're even beautiful on the inside, and your partner keeps telling you you are, but you know that you're not. That internal conflict is resolved by you saying no to the shit that doesn't matter, that's not going to matter in 5, 10, 20 years, and saying yes to the things that do matter, which is right now, the pain that you're feeling right now that can be resolved from a decision and a commitment to get there in 5, 10 years. I don't really have much more to say than that. I think I've kind of laid everything out. This was a bit of a fucking ramble today. But I just wanted to end on this. If you want to lose 10 plus kilos, firstly, hire me as your coach, because I'm an absolute gun and I'll get you anywhere you need to get to. And you can see by my testimonials, I'm a machine, and all I do is this all day, every day, 7 days a week. This is literally my life. I don't have hobbies. I don't have video games. I've got a girlfriend that I love dearly. That's about it. And my cats. Otherwise, I'm in here making content for mums, coaching mums, doing this day in, day out. Otherwise, focus on your nutrition if you don't want to hire a coach and you're feeling like you're not ready or in a place to invest and commit to yourself, which I think is a very silly decision. But you're open to your own opinion. I'm open to mine. This has been Mum to MILF podcast, episode 6 or 7. I can't remember which one. By the time I publish this, I'll be able to figure it out. I hope you guys have the best day. I hope you guys take some of this advice and actually implement it into your life, because you're a big, big wally if you don't. Because you've got one life, mums. One fucking life. And you can live it, hating it, with little spouts if I'm doing okay, or you can live it thriving. And most of you mums have the potential to thrive, because I'm going to tell you now for free that being fat is the lowest tier of problems. It's like having no money, having no job. How easy is it to get a fucking job? Pretty fucking easy. It might not be the job you like, but it's pretty fucking easy, let's be real. Then, how easy is it to do really well in that job? Show up early, leave late, do everything you're asked of and more, commit for a 12 to 24 month time. You'll get pretty fucking good at that job. Then what's next? Fat loss stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Same shit. The more you put in, the better quality of life you'll get. And you can scrounge around for crumbs at the bottom like the rest of the people in the world. 70% of people in the world are overweight, maybe 80 probably at this time. Or you can be in the top 20% that actually looks after themselves and then elevates the quality of their problems. Because right now, being fat is a bottom of the barrel problem to have. There's so many cooler and bigger problems out there. I'm telling you, you have so much more potential than what you think you're doing and how you're behaving right now. Your behavior is a direct reflection of the quality of life, in my opinion, and what you're currently facing. And if you want more out of your life, you've got to start elevating the quality of your problems. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Fucking love you all so much. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode, and catch you on the next one. Cheers.